But be not afraid, my friends. I also bring you the means with which to save yourselves.
Save us from what?
From the end of the world, friend. Which I don't expect you to believe. The world will come to a flaming end at midnight tonight. Without my help and knowledge, every one of you will be dead. With which to save yourselves. Without my help and knowledge, every one of you will be dead.
Said in 2019, when you first ran, there was a debate. You raised your hand when asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally, and there should be consequence. And let's be clear, in this race, I'm the only person who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward. I recognize the problem.
When I went on the run in Belize, I had friends in the U.S. Embassy in Belize. I knew what was coming down. I'm not stupid. I had arranged with the head of security. I was going to come in. He said, "Sir, we have it from the highest authority. We are not to allow you entry into the U.S. Embassy." Understand me. Who was the highest authority of the State Department? Hillary Clinton. I'm an American citizen with a American passport. I'm sorry. I'm not wanted in America. I've got no crimes in America. Is it not a reason to say, I don't think I'm going to vote for you?
And yet you're here now.
For a month and a half, I was on the run. The reason that the government wanted to collect me was that after they had raided my property in 2012 in the jungle, shot my dog, abused me, destroyed $500,000 worth of my property over a bogus charge, I was pissed off. And so I donated to many secretaries within the government laptop computers, really nice ones, that were preloaded with viral spyware. Within a week, the entire government computer system was under my control. I was watching, monitoring, listening. I was looking for information that they had set me up for that raid. I didn't find that. I did find out that the Minister of National Defense was the largest drug trafficker in all of Central America. And the Minister of Immigration, the largest human trafficker.
We don't want to get killed by them either, so we're probably not going to share that.
That's fine.
Bisogna dirlo con chiarezza. C'è chi opera sistematicamente e con ogni mezzo per respingere i migranti, e questo, quanto è fatto con coscienza e responsabilità, è un peccato grave. Il Signore è con i nostri migranti nel mare nostro. Il Signore è con loro, non con quelli che li respingono. In quei mari e in quei deserti mortali i migranti di oggi non dovrebbero esserci, e ce ne sono, purtroppo. Ma non è attraverso leggi più restrittivi non è con la militarizzazione delle frontiere, non è con i respingimenti che otterremo questo risultato. Lo otterremo invece ampliando le vie di accesso sicure e le vie di accesso regolari per i migranti.
Funny enough, the IRGC cannot operate in Saudi Arabia. Their supporters cannot have bank accounts in the UAE. The other extremist groups, like the Muslim Brotherhood, who are friends with the IRGC and Hezbollah people, they cannot operate in Bahrain, in Oman. These are Muslim countries. Where do they operate? In London, in France, in Washington, D.C., in Australia, in Canada, Toronto. They operate here. They have bank accounts. They register charity. Right. So Macron, the president of France, recently said the Islamic world is in a crisis. In my opinion, yeah, we do have problems. We do have Boko Haram, we have Al-Qaeda, we have Taliban. We have problems, but the broader picture, Islam is very successful, it's growing very fast. And we're doing really well. Dubai is not in a crisis. Abu Dhabi, the UAE, Bahrain, Oman, Kuwait, there's no crisis there. The Muslim countries are doing good there. Only some places there's a problem. I say, no, you are in a crisis. You went to the Muslim countries and you imported the garbage that the Muslim countries wanted to put in prison or isolate away from society. You went and you imported them. Why? For cheap labor. But these Islamist extremists, they don't want to work. They want free welfare. They want to marry French women, blonde hair, blue eyes. They don't have time to work. So look at Poland. They don't complain from Islamic extremism, not a single terrorist attack in Poland. The moment they sense there's a problem, they crack down on it. Polish policy, beautiful. The French, no, come. When they come, they use the resources. They go to Washington, D.C., and they sit in Congress. They support the Iranian regime. They go against the sanctions in Congress, right, with their hijab. Why? Because the ideology is filth to begin with. When you import that, or you allow it in, or you amplify it, or you glorify it in any way, you make your bed, sleep in it.
Let's talk about some foreign policy issues that would be on your plate if you become commander-in-chief. President Biden has tried unsuccessfully to end the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. He's been doing it for months and months, along with you. Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. But let's take a step back. October 7, 1,200 people were massacred. Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
But no change in policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No, we have to get a deal done. Dana, we have to get a deal done. When you look at the significance of this to the families, to
Dear friends, come forward, friends. Step forward. I bring you a message few of you will be able to believe, a message of great importance, A message I alone was able to read in the fires of the universe. But be not afraid, my friends. I also bring you the means with which to save yourselves.
Save us from what?
From the end of the world, friend. Which I don't expect you to believe. But the rest of you, those who want to be alive tomorrow morning, I will tell you tonight. Remember that. Bring your friends here. I'll tell you tonight so that you will be able to prepare.
What are you selling, mister? Snake oil?
The world will come to a flaming end at midnight tonight. Without my help and knowledge, every one of you will be dead. Got a name?
Trump.
That fits. Sheriff, how long are you going to put up with this?
What do you mean?
How long are you going to let this con man walk around town? Be careful, son. I can sue you. How about it, Sheriff? When are you going to put the lid on?
What for?
Well, stealing is stealing, whether you do it with a gun or a mouthful of mealy words.
I don't intend to sit here and be insulted, Sheriff. If your people don't want my help, I can go elsewhere.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Trump. You don't talk for the rest of us.
Since the sheriff wouldn't stop Trump, Hobie had to find somebody who would. Sheriff Chet Farrow was the gun law in Talpa, and Judge Clement was the book law.
You hear about Trump?
Yes, sir. What are you going to do about him?
What do you want me to do?
Stop him.
From what?
From taking the town.
Can you prove that that's what he has in mind?
Well, it's obvious.
But can you prove it? In order to arrest him, the sheriff has to have a charge. And Trump hasn't given him a thing to go on.
Well, there's got to be some way to stop him.
Well, if there is, I don't know it. It's a funny thing.
Sir?
When we were kids, we were all afraid of the dark. And we grew up, and we weren't afraid anymore, but it's funny how a big lie can make us all kids again.
Hobie had checked the town. The people were ready to believe. Like sheep, they ran toward the slaughterhouse. And waiting for them was the high priest of fraud.
I am the only one. Just me. I can build a wall around your homes that nothing will penetrate.
What do we do? How do we save ourselves?
You ask, how do you build that wall? You ask, and I'm here to tell you.
You're a liar, Trump. Aren't you going to stay for the fireworks?
I've done all I can for Talpa.
Figure it's time for me to be moving on.
Well, I think you ought to wait. It's where you and I disagree.
You're under arrest, Trump.
What charge?
Well, you write it any way you like. Grand theft, fraud, I think a jury will find it stealing.
Middle of a Friday afternoon, you didn't know we were coming.
Absolutely.
You said, come on up. How busy can you be?
I'm not. I have nothing to do. You know my truth? I have nothing to do. I wish I had more to do.
What would you be doing if you
I'll
could
go to
do it?
Louisville.
You should.
We'll do a couple of real
estate deals in Louisville. Real estate deals in Louisville.
There's a spot over here down
This
in the
office
Right.
is all you, and it's a little bit junky.
Yeah. You know what? This I just got a few weeks ago. This is from the Marine Corps. That's the chair for The Apprentice that I used.
Oh, wow.
These are different things. Tom Brady's Super Bowl helmet.
Wow.
This is Mike Tyson's belt. This is Vince McMahon from the World Wrestling Federation. So these awards are given to me by the Jewish community for different things, and this is the Tree of Life, which is a very big award in terms of everything that I stand for. It means so much to me, and a lot of times I'll have friends of mine come in, Jewish, and they will see the Tree of Life and they'll say, wow, what a great, for different things, and this is the Tree of Life, which is a very big award in terms of everything that I stand for. It means so much to me, and a lot of times I'll have friends of mine come in, Jewish, and they will see the Tree of Life and they'll say, wow, what a great thing. Likewise, right over here, this is the Shalom Humanitarian Award, and that was presented to me also. And these are different awards I've had over the years for different things I've done. This is when I backed the United States in its big cup race in the yacht race, the America's Cup Foundation, which was terrific. And these are just some of the older magazine covers. Now I have so many that I can't put them up.
different things. That's Variety, where The Apprentice was the #1 show on television. You'll see The Apprentice was #1. This was the finale, #1 on television. You might get close up so you can see it. That was on the cover of Playboy, and it was one of the few men in the history of Playboy to be on the cover. So I don't know. And these are just different magazines. This is a picture with Ronald Reagan that was taken at the White House, and it was he was terrific. Had a very good relationship with him. Not a big relationship because I was young, but he liked me and I liked him. It was one of the few men in the history of Playboy to be on the cover. So I don't know.
And she used to be great. She's still very beautiful. I moved on her, actually. You know, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
That's huge news, Sarah.
No, Nancy. Yeah. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there. And she was married. Then all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look.
She's your girl's hot as shit. In the purple.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, the Donald has scored.
Whoa.
Oh, my man. Wait, you got to look at me when you get out of your
Set this up.
That is very
Will you give me the thumbs
Look
up?
at you. You are a
You got to put the thumbs up. You got to get the thumbs up. Can't be too happy.
Else off first? Yeah, let me.
It's very fun.
You got to give me the thumbs up.
You and I will walk down.
Oh, my God.
Maybe it's a different one.
Better not be the publicist. No, it's her.
Yeah, that's her, with the gold. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
Look at those legs. All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good.
Come on, Shorty.
Oh, nice legs, huh?
Oof, get out of the way, honey. That's good legs. Go ahead.
It's always good if you don't fall out of the bus. Like Ford, Gerald Ford, remember?
Down below. Pull the handle.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
Mr. Trump, how
nice
are
seeing
you?
you. Terrific.
Pleasure to meet you.
Terrific. You know Billy Bush?
How are you?
Nice to see you. How you doing,
Very
Ariane?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Are you ready to be a soap star?
We're ready. Let's go. Make me a soap star.
How about a little hug for the Donald? He just got off the
Would
bus.
you like a little hug,
Okay,
darling?
absolutely. Melania said this was
Bushy. I
okay.
just got off the bus.
Bushy.
There we go. Excellent. Well,
Come
you've
on.
got a nice co-star here.
Good.
Yes, absolutely.
After you. Come on, Billy. Don't be shy.
As soon as a beautiful woman shows up, he takes
Get over
off
here,
on
Billy.
He's always happy.
I'm sorry, come here.
Let the little guy in here. Come
Yeah,
on.
let the little guy in. How you feel now, better? I should actually
It's
be
hard to
in the
walk next to a guy
middle.
like
Here, wait,
this.
hold on.
Yeah, you get in the middle. There we go.
Good. That's
This
better.
is much better. This is.
That's better.
Now, if you had to choose, honestly, between one of us, me or the Donald, who
I
would it
don't
be?
know. That's
That's
tough
some pressure right
competition.
there.
Yeah.
Seriously, you had to take one of us as a date.
I have to take the fifth on that one.
Really?
Yep, I'll take both.
Which way?
Make it right. Here we go. Goodbye. Right in the days.
It was one of the few men in the history of Playboy to be on the cover. So I don't know. Well, thank you very much. I don't think, does the rabbi play golf? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I like to have fun on the course, and that means sort of razzing the partner a little bit. Enjoy it. You got some place here, I'll tell you. Even these spoiled, rich Jewish guys, they can't believe how good this is, you know? No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
We're going to say a little prayer or something. Would you like to? Go ahead, please. Who's better than the rabbi at this? Right? Come on, rabbi. Say another one. Say another one.
We all have great gratitude to this person. This is a person that doesn't care only for himself, but cares for the entire world, and especially for the people in Israel and for the Jews in America. My blessings may the blessings from Israel come upon the president, his family, and all his friends. May God give a long life, a healthy life, a sweet life to our dear president, Mr. Donald J. Trump.
Thank you, Rabbi. I'm glad I told him to do that. He did a very good job. You've done that before, Rabbi, I guess, huh? A couple of times, huh? This is great group, Israel Heritage Foundation. I'm honored to receive your Crown of Jerusalem Award. That's a very big deal as far as I'm concerned. And I can say that Israel is under siege politically. You know, it used to be when I was growing up in Queens, my father was a builder in Brooklyn and Queens, and my father was very supportive of the whole Jewish movement, call it whatever you want, but very supportive. And in Congress, you couldn't say a bad thing about Israel. You couldn't even talk about it. You don't know these, you know, these are pretty young congressmen, right? But you couldn't say anything bad. Today, it's almost like there's a revolution against Israel within Congress, especially in Congress. The Senate's not like it used to be, but at least it's still there. But Congress, between AOC plus 3 and all these other lunatics, they're lunatics. No, but they're lunatics, and they want you to go, and I mean, they hate Israel. They hate it with a passion. And I hope you know that. And they've convinced a lot of people, because they have a good line of bullshit, and they convinced a lot of people that Israel is a bad place and that you're bad people. And I don't know, something has to be done. This would have been 10 years ago, 15 years ago in particular, but 10 years ago, this would have been impossible. Impossible. They've said things that are so bad, and they should have had the biggest sanctions or whatever it is that you put on them, Mr. Congressman, whatever it is you put on. And today they say things and nobody even says. And so for nearly half a century, the Israel Heritage Foundation has been powerful and a very powerful testament to the strength and resilience of the Jewish people. And that's why I tell you what I just told you, because I think it could start right here, but they have to get very strong, very, very strong, the movement, because the United States backs Israel, but they back it less than they used to. I was having a lot of problems getting support for Israel. And I can't really understand it because I grew up in a world where everything evolved around politically. Everything evolved around Israel, and the power was amazing. As president, I was proud to be the best friend, they say the best president that Israel's ever had, actually. And it's a very interesting phenomenon because in Israel, I could be elected prime minister today. If I ever decided to give this up and go over to Israel, I would be elected very quickly. They have polls at 99%. But in the United States, with the Jewish population, it's 26, 27, 28%. And that's a Republican thing to a large extent, not me. But I should be at 100%. Because I have been the best friend as a president by far.
We are very happy to announce that the Mikdash Educational Center just produced a new Cyrus Trump Temple coin. This special coin was produced and minted for the 70 years of the independence of the State of Israel, and to honor and praise President Donald Trump, who promised, but not only promised, also fulfilled this promise, and next week will move the American embassy to Jerusalem. Charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem. The candelabra was always the symbol of the State of Israel. 3 languages, in Hebrew, in English, and in Arabic. President Trump is starting a prophetic process by moving the American embassy to Jerusalem. Just like King Cyrus 2,500 years ago said, he charged me to build a house in Jerusalem. Here again, President Trump is building a house in Jerusalem.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Netanyahu and Mrs. Netanyahu with us. They've been friends for a long time. We have, I would say, probably the best relationships right now with Israel that we ever had. I think we're as close now as maybe ever before. Jerusalem was a wonderful thing, and I know it was very much appreciated in a big part of the world, not just in Israel, in a very big part. So that was a decision that I had to make. Many presidents were discussing whether or not to make that decision, and they promised it in their campaigns, but they never were able to do what they should have done. So I was able to do it. And I think it's something that's very much appreciated in Israel, but far beyond Israel. We are very close on trade deals. We are very, very close on military and terrorism and all of the things that we have to work together on. So the relationship has never been better. And Mr. Prime Minister, Mrs. Netanyahu, it's a great honor to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, Donald, Melania, Sarah and I want to thank you for your extraordinary friendship and hospitality. It's always a pleasure to see you both, but this is the first time we meet in Washington, America's capital, after you declared, Mr. President, Jerusalem as Israel's capital. And this was a historic proclamation, followed by your bold decision to move the embassy by our upcoming National Independence Day. I want to tell you that the Jewish people have a long memory. So we remember the proclamation of the great king, Cyrus the Great, Persian king, 2,500 years ago. He proclaimed that the Jewish exiles in Babylon can come back and rebuild our temple in Jerusalem. We remember 100 years ago, Lord Balfour, who issued the Balfour Proclamation that recognized the rights of the Jewish people in our ancestral homeland. We remember 70 years ago, President Harry S. Truman was the first leader to recognize the Jewish state. And we remember how a few weeks ago, President Donald J. Trump recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Mr. President, this will be remembered by our people throughout the ages. And as you just said, others talked about it. You did it. So I want to thank you on behalf of the people of Israel. And I also want to I look forward to our discussions on both challenges and opportunities. If I had to say what is our greatest challenge in the Middle East, to both our countries, to our Arab neighbors, it's encapsulated in one word: Iran. Iran has not given up its nuclear ambitions. Came out of this nuclear deal emboldened, enriched. It's practicing aggression everywhere, including on our own borders. And I think we have to stop this country that chants death to Israel, death to America. Iran must be stopped. That is our common challenge. The second is seeking, because of that challenge, to exploit the opportunity for peace, because the Arabs have never been closer to Israel. Israel has never been closer to the Arabs. And we seek also to broaden that peace to the Palestinians. So I look forward to it.
Well, they're looking at it, and they're doing it very professionally, and it looks like it's Iran doing it, because Iran is no friend of mine, and a lot of bad signals get sent, but it looks like it's Iran doing it, and the reason is because I was strong on Iran, and I was protecting people in the Middle East that maybe they aren't so happy about that. So that's what it seems to be, Iran.
Is that what the FBI told you specifically, that it was Iran?
I don't want to say exactly, but it was Iran. The best friend as a president, by far, the best friend that Israel's ever had. And you've had a couple of good ones, but you have me, and we're in a different league, because under our leadership, the alliance between the United States and Israel had never been stronger. And I had to brush back a lot of bad people that disagreed. In some cases, good people that don't know, and in some cases, actually bad people. And the future of the Middle East really was looking very bright until the election was rigged. But it's just one of those things. That's why we're leading by so much. It's very tough to rig an election when you swamp them. So they say, how do you win? How do you win? Well, we had a different kind of a thing then. You had COVID come in. They used COVID to cheat, so they can't do that. Hopefully, we're not going to have any surprises like that. But you swamp them. You have to get a lot of votes, because they can only cheat so much. They are cheating son of a bitches, I'll tell you. But just as I promised, I recognized the eternal capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. You cannot allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I say that. And I just don't think Israel can allow it. I don't think. And by the way, we took out Soleimani, we took out al-Baghdadi, we took out some people that weren't particularly fond of your country, and they were the biggest. Soleimani was the biggest, and al-Baghdadi, founder of ISIS, took him out. We also did, just so many things. I have a list here that's so long, I'm not going to read it all, but nobody's done what we've done. Nobody's done. I appointed a special envoy to combat anti-Semitism worldwide. We did that, and it was a big deal, as you know, and they did a good job on it. And the Middle East, the very historic Abraham Accords, which is one of the most important agreements. And we had 4 countries, and we had them lined up to sign. If that election were legitimate, we were in there, we would have had virtually every country in the Middle East. You would have had peace in the Middle East. They have signed exactly no people, no countries, and everybody wanted to sign. They don't care. It's like they don't care. This administration, they don't care. But we would have had them all signed up. I think every single country would have been signed up. Peace in the Middle East. Instead, we have a bunch of people that are so sad. And they actually would have liked to have terminated it, and they tried, and the uproar was incredible. So it means you can do that. But the Abraham Accords was absolutely incredible and incredible for the Middle East. So I just leave you with this. You're my friends. It's an honor to have you at this great place. Thank you very much. But so important is you've got to be more proactive in Congress because you're not getting support. You're just not getting support. People that used to support you, they sort of go and hide. And people that frankly weren't supporting you much, those people are actually, they've become your enemy. And it's inconceivable for me as somebody that grew up with 16 Court Street in Brooklyn and all the different places, you know, where you have the Hasidic community. By the way, with the Hasidic community, the Orthodox, well, how about like 100%? It's an amazing, with the Orthodox community, the Hasidic community, like in Brooklyn, we had literally almost 100% of the vote. So that's good. And you know, they love our country, but they love Israel. So I just want to thank you, everyone, for being here. Be very vigilant because there are a lot of people that are looking at bad things for Israel. This is a great gentleman, and this is a great honor for me, and it was an honor to see so many friends. And Steve, take care of yourself. You two guys, you've done a great job, and we appreciate it. 2 really fantastic people. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Give thanks to Hashem for his work is good, his kindness endures forever. Presented to President Donald J. Trump for his extraordinary and heroic efforts. I like that very much. To help the state of Israel and the Jewish people. He and his family should be blessed eternally. From the Israel Heritage Foundation, July 10th, 2023. I want to thank you. Let me put it this way. If we don't win, Israel's in big trouble. I really mean it. I mean it. Israel's in big trouble. I am the least anti-Semitic person that you've ever seen in your entire life.
I have so many Jewish friends that are supporting Obama, and I'm saying, are you crazy? There's never been anybody worse to Israel than Obama.
And I think any Jewish people that vote for a Democrat, I think it shows either a total lack of knowledge or great disloyalty. In my opinion, you vote for a Democrat, you're being very disloyal to Jewish people, and you're being very disloyal to Israel. Yeah.
Isn't that anti-Semitic?
No. It's only in your head. It's only anti-Semitic in your head.
I can't believe, because I could always spot a yid.
Right.
I'm going, this guy's in country clubs. He's fooling everybody.
Well,
he just slipped right under the radar.
And then we did some research. We found out you're about the furthest thing from a Jew.
well, I'm actually, I'm in a very Jewish business, okay?
Right.
This house belonged to the parents of a close friend of mine. Her name is Raz. It's the Tamari house. And both her parents were murdered here on the 7th of October.
Good things.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you all for sharing the stories with us, and I just have to say it's very humbling for me to be with you, with the heroic acts that you did. You never know what your training for life puts you, and then when the moment comes, you know, sometimes we do things even more than we know we're capable of doing, but what you did made a massive difference. And hearing these stories, there's a million different ways these things could have gone, but I respect, my appreciation, and really my love to all of you. And so just really thank you for what you did.
Thank you.
Nice. Can I give you a hug?
היום אנחנו רוצים רק להיכנס לבית של סיוון, אתה...
She's a hero.
Yeah.
She's a hero.
לגמרי hero.
We're fighting with her together.
Thank you.
Really thank you. תודה.
איפה יעל?
Thank you. May God bless you.
God bless.
In Gaza's waterfront property, it could be very valuable to, if people would focus on kind of building up, livelihoods. You think about all the money that's gone into this tunnel network and into all the munitions. If that would have gone into education or innovation, what could have been done? But I think from Israel's perspective, I would do my best to move the people out and then clean it up. But I don't think that Israel has stated that they don't want the people to move back there afterwards.
In our spring series of what we are calling Middle East dialogues, which
Number one, you want to get as many civilians out of Rafah as possible. I think that you want to try to clear that out. If I was Israel right now, I would just bulldoze something in the Negev. I would try to move people in there.
Dear Mr. Trump, God bless you, God loves you. You too survived a shooting. 5 years ago, on April 27, 2019, at my synagogue, a gunman came in and shot and killed Mrs. Lori Gilbert Kay, and I took 2 bullets, lost my 2 fingers, but I survived. The very next day, you called me and you shared with me words of encouragement and blessings that I'll never forget. Today, I'm thinking about you. The day after you were shot, I want to share with you that the day that you survived the shooting, just like I survived my shooting, is a new birthday. It's a day that God has shown you that you need to survive. The day you were born, God said, the world can no longer exist without you. The day you were shot yesterday, God sent you a message. Mr. President, you have a gift that God has given you to be a leader of the free world and to help the free world during these most difficult times. Just like right after the shooting, when I felt there was a cloud of darkness that entered our synagogue, I learned how a little bit of light pushes away a lot of darkness. The same thing to you, Mr. Trump. God has preserved you. You have been saved by a miracle. To me, when the bullets came flying by me, it was 1 millimeter, a fraction of a direction of the bullet that could have shot and killed me and did not. The same thing with you, Mr. Trump. God guided that bullet away from you so that you can survive this. That God loves you. God is trusting you that you would continue on being an ambassador for good, to help lead the United States of America and the world to better and greater times, to continue on protecting Israel and the Jewish people, and continuing in being God's partner in this world and making this world a better place.
A bullet grazed his ear. Bullet was shot
from hundreds of yards away by a person apparently with a sniper training. Those of you who know anything about snipers and sniper shots, to have a bullet just graze your ear and miss you by literally an inch is a miracle. And the only one who does miracles, as we know, is God. And I know all of those of you who are naysayers out there want to say, oh, the wind might have pushed it away, whatever. It doesn't matter. God protected Mr. Trump tonight. And I want you to understand the ramifications of this, because I'm going to tell you now with certainty, Mr. Trump will be the next president of the United States of America, and it's ordained by God. And you can argue that, you can condemn it, you can resist it, you can do whatever you want, and it's not going to matter anything. The time of awakening is upon us, whether you like it or not. And you can continue in your godless, immoral, and unbiblical lives and lifestyles with all the comments that you want to put here on YouTube or Facebook and all the ideas and beliefs you want to have. You can be as for Mr. Trump or against Mr. Trump. Your opinions don't matter. This is a decision as ordained by God. God is the one who chooses our political leaders, whether it was Pharaoh in Egypt, Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon, or even Adolf Hitler in Germany. And I know that there are many of you out there who are very sorry that the sniper did not succeed. This is by the hand of God. And if you wish to put yourself in opposition to the work of God, so be it, face your destiny. But just know and understand that we did see a miracle today. For those who know and understand sniper training, this was a miracle. In our Jewish tradition, we recite the Baracha Shehechianu on a miracle. I would hope that Mr. Trump's daughter, who is a convert to Orthodox Judaism, would share that with him, and that he would indeed kneel in prayer before God and give thanks for his life, knowing that he has a mission and a destiny ordained by heaven for his future. You may not like that. You may choose to resist it, but you will not resist the work and hand of God. The miracle that we saw today was clear evidence of God's hand here. And God does not do miracles haphazardly for no reason. This is clearly to show the future of things to come.
Almost 4 years ago, in 2020, I published some videos where I predicted that President Donald Trump would serve a second term in the White House. I'm not going to repeat all the details that went into this prediction. If you're interested, you can check out my videos from before and after the election of 2020. But here it is in a nutshell. In Genesis chapter 25 and 27, the Torah records prophecies to Rebekah and to Isaac, stating that ultimately at the end of days, Esav will serve his younger brother, Jacob. Esav evolved into the mighty Roman Empire, which metamorphosed into the various Christian nations and denominations, and then into Western society, with all its diverse components. Jacob becomes the Jewish people. The parents of both Jacob and Esav were told of the long and bitter subjugation, humiliation, and suffering of Jacob at the hands of Esav and all his offshoots. They also foretold that at the end of days there will be reconciliation. The evil components of Esav will separate from the good and be vanquished. Esav will then have the clarity to understand his role, not as an adversary to his younger brother, but rather as his supporter, who offers his hand to assist his brother Jacob in spreading the truth of God to all the inhabitants in the world. Our sages have passed down to us a tradition that at the end of days, the representative of Esav will approach the Jewish Messiah, who will reign from Jerusalem. And with humility and penance, he will return all the riches that Esav and his offshoots plundered from the Jews over the course of our long and bitter exile. As I reasoned in those videos of 2020, it made no sense that this incredible honor of participating with the Jewish Messiah in the building of the Holy Temple and the establishment of God's kingdom on earth should be given to someone who is undeserving, to someone who represented the ugly side of America, which has been engaged in undermining the security and safety of the Jews who have returned to their ancestral homeland since day one, when the state was established in 1948. President Donald Trump was the first American president who stood up in defiance to the entrenched and endemic anti-Israel attitude of all previous U.S. administrations towards our presence in the Holy Land, an attitude that was in place for the past 70 years. Only he or somebody like him would be the person who deserves this great honor of representing Western society and fulfilling the prophecy uttered to our matriarch Rebecca, the elder one will serve the younger one. At that time in 2020, I was hoping that this prophecy would be fulfilled sooner rather than later. But those hopes did not materialize. Apparently, Western society, led by the United States, had to go through further degradation and humiliation under the lowly and weak Biden administration before goodness could emerge from the ashes of the failed American dream. Biden's incredible incompetence and intellectual decay is but a symbol of the total obliteration of the fourth beast envisioned by Daniel some 2,500 years ago. Biden's replacement was someone whose only qualifications are her gender, her skin color, and the birthplaces of her parents, further underscores the complete decomposition of the fourth beast. And apparently, for some incomprehensible reason, the Jews had to suffer the terrible consequences of another 4 years of a deeply anti-Israel American establishment who have emboldened, financed, and even encouraged the thoroughly wicked Iranian axis of pure sadistic evil, who are now at the cusp of attaining nuclear capabilities. But now we are about to move on to the next phase. Thank God. The term Messiah is used in the books of Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, as an idiom for someone who is anointed by God for a godly mission connected to the ultimate redemption. There is only one non-Jew in the history of mankind who has been given this title. It was given to Cyrus the Great, who freed the Jews from their exile forced upon them by Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. 370 years before the Common Era, Cyrus issued a decree allowing and even encouraging the Jews to leave Babylon and return to their holy land and rebuild their holy temple. Almost 250 years prior to that historic declaration, the great prophet Isaiah proclaimed in the most beautiful language the godly role of Cyrus the Great in chapters 44 and 45 of his book. We have no prophecy today. God does not articulate his plans through the mouths of human beings, but he has other ways of communicating. I'm no prophet, and I could be wrong, but it seems obvious to me that on Shabbat, July 13th, in Butler, Pennsylvania, and in front of the eyes of the entire world, God's voice was heard loud and clear to anyone whose ears were open, and he chose the second non-Jewish Messiah, not to redeem the world. That job is reserved for the Jewish Messiah, who is a direct descendant of King David and his son Solomon. But like the first non-Jewish Messiah, Cyrus, who was chosen to assist the Jews in re-establishing themselves in the land of Israel after their 70-year exile in Babylon, the current non-Jewish Messiah was chosen to be of service to the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah. President Trump's right ear was grazed in a symbolic gesture of Exodus 21:6, where the Torah states that a servant who wants to remain with his master needs to have his right ear pierced. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago. We have clarified in several videos that the absolute deadline for the redemption is by the end of the Jewish year 5787, which corresponds to October 2nd, 2027, 1,167 days from today. Thus, the redemption will surely occur during Donald Trump's tenure. And I have good reason to believe Donald Trump was chosen to be the one to redeem the sins of Esav through offering his assistance in rebuilding the Holy Temple on the Temple Mount and establishing the Jewish kingdom over all of mankind in Jerusalem. Perhaps it is no accident that the numeric value of Donald Trump in Hebrew is the same as Messiah, son of David, Mashiach ben David, 424. However, Donald Trump is mistaken if he thinks he was chosen to make America great again. He will no doubt do a lot of good things to strengthen our economy, protect our borders, and allow religious freedom to flourish. But America will never become a great country on its own, because Esav's days are numbered. All our elite institutions and centers of power and influence are rotten through and through. The majority of Americans under 30 who are college educated and who are the future leaders of America support the vicious monsters of Hamas rather than the holy and courageous soldiers of the IDF. No human being, even Donald Trump, can reverse this. No. The greatness of America does not lie in its own success. America will be great when the Messiah comes. And the leader of this country, on behalf of all the good people in this country, will humbly present himself to the Jewish Messiah and ask him to accept the United States of America into a new alliance of countries who accept the leadership of the Messiah. A new United Nations will replace the current cesspool that goes by that fraudulent name. A real United Nations, united to serve God, led by the Messiah and based in Jerusalem. And my feeling is that the United States under President Trump will be the first nation to join. The meaning of the MAGA movement needs to be adjusted. America was a great idea, but it was never realized. When the American government under FDR chose not to lift a finger to save the Jews from Hitler's inferno, America was not great. They slammed the door shut even to Jews who miraculously were able to escape from the clutches of Nazi Germany. How great was that? When the state of Israel in its infancy was attacked by 6 Arab armies assisted by British anti-Semites, America refused to send Israel even one single bullet. How great was that? And ever since, the United States has been tying Israel's hands and forcing them to make ceasefires and suicidal concessions to their enemies, time after time. No, America was not that great in the past. It may have been on the path to becoming so. America was not great in the past, specifically in relation to its support of Israel. And the shameless Biden administration has brought America to its lowest depths in its relationship to God's holy people and God's holy land. President Trump could change some of that, but he cannot stop the universities from indoctrinating another generation with sickening woke ideology and anti-Israel propaganda. He cannot stop the tens of thousands of pathetic Islamic students littering all elite universities with their filthy anti-Semitic slogans. He cannot stop them because they're not illegal immigrants. He can't stop them because the Constitution grants them the freedom to spew their venom and harass Jewish students. No. Although Trump can make America safer and more prosperous, he cannot make America great. And that is not what he was chosen for. I believe he has a much greater historic role. The founding fathers were deeply influenced by the Jewish Bible, and its verses are quoted in their writings more often than any other book. They would have been appalled by the knowledge that eventually that very same book, which was their source of inspiration, would be banned in all government-funded institutions of learning and be replaced with a godless, immoral, asinine, and anti-Semitic ideology. It is no accident that Trump was anointed by God in Pennsylvania, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. God is mentioned 3 times in the Declaration of Independence as the very foundation of our republic. God is mentioned in the Pledge of Allegiance, and God appears on all American currency. Constitutions of 46 out of 50 states also explicitly mention God. The Liberty Bell proudly displayed next to Independence Hall was cast with the statement, "Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof," echoing Leviticus 25:10. And the fact that this earth-shattering event occurred in a little village called Butler is also significant, because that is exactly what I believe President Trump was anointed for. A butler is devoted to serve and assist in the management of the home, which is the futuristic role of Esav in relation to Jacob, to serve and assist in the management of Messiah's household, which will be the entire planet Earth. As we mentioned earlier, based on the prophecies of Isaac and Rebekah, patriarchs and matriarchs of the Jewish people, and reiterated in Isaiah's famous prophecy in 49:23, "V'hayu malachim imnayich b'sariseyim enikosayich." The MAGA movement needs to be tweaked from Make America Great Again to Make America Godly Again. Donald Trump has taken the first step by proclaiming to the whole world that which is clear to anyone who wishes to see. The entire episode on Shabbat of July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania was clearly orchestrated by God. The fact that a 20-year-old kid was able to bypass the Secret Service, which is one of the most professional security teams in the world, was clearly orchestrated from above. And the fact that President Trump turned his head a mere second before the shot grazed his ear was clearly miraculous. I believe this man was chosen to be the one to represent Western society in greeting the Messiah in Jerusalem, chosen to bow his head in humility to Mashiach, and to offer America's complete unconditional assistance to completely eradicate all of the enemies of the Jews and of God, and in the establishment of the eternal kingdom of the Messiah, son of David, who will lead all of mankind to lead moral and holy lives.
This might shock you, but we have something in common.
Good.
Respect for human life.
Thank you.
Okay? Now, I have two comments on my deep respect for human life. Okay? Number one, and you can comment on my objections. Number one and number two. Okay? Number one, I'm opposed to the murder of unborn babies being legal. Number two, I'm opposed to our wasting our military in the Middle East on behalf of Zionist Israel. Thank you.
Okay. All right, well, let me just tell you that Israel is a very, very important ally of the United States, and we are going to protect them 100%. 100%. They've been our most reliable. It's our true friend over there, and we're going to protect Israel 100%. As to number one, we're with you. Okay, one more. We got to ask one more, because that was a tough question on Israel. That was nasty. Whoa. Are we all for Israel, right?
Could this be America's last election if Donald Trump wins? Listen to what the former president told a Christian group at the Turning Point USA Believers Summit in West Palm Beach. The former president telling the crowd that if they re-elect him to the White House, they won't have to worry about voting ever again.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
He said it 3 times. Now the Harris...